Most people who think they're in love are actually in debt. No, not financial debt though. Let's be honest, that's another horror story. I'm talking about emotional debt. That invisible credit card of guilt, obligation, and unresolved childhood trauma that people keep swiping in relationships until bam, the balance comes due. And you know what's funny? Most of us are paying minimum payments on our love lives, just enough to keep things going, but never enough to actually feel free. Welcome to Intuition Decoded, where we take the feelings you can't quite explain and decode them like Netflix subtitles. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll either break up with your imaginary soulmate or at least stop confusing love with emotional IOUs. Okay, let's decode this thing. Emotional debt is what happens when you're not giving or receiving love freely. Instead, you're trading, negotiating, like two undercover bankers running a shady deal. I'll give you affection, but only if you don't leave me. I'll stay loyal, but only because I'm terrified of being alone. I'll forgive you, but remember, you owe me now. See? That's not romance. That's a mafia contract. When you're emotionally in debt, every hug, every I love you, every late night text has fine print attached. And the fine print usually says, I'm scared, I need control, please don't abandon me. Think about it. Love is supposed to feel like Netflix and popcorn. But emotional debt feels like Netflix when you forgot your password, your ex is still logged in, and now you're paying $15 a month for a show you don't even watch. That's emotional debt. Here's how it starts. Most of us grow up with this belief: if I give, I'll get love back. If I sacrifice, they'll stay. If I suffer, they'll appreciate me. But here's the plot twist. Instead of love, what we actually build is a ledger. You cook dinner, you expect gratitude. You forgive their mistake, or you expect loyalty. You stay through their bad times, nor you expect they'll never leave you. And when those expectations aren't met, boom, suddenly you're not a partner, you're a debt collector, chasing payments in the form of validation, attention, and reassurance. It's like dating someone, but secretly keeping a spreadsheet of all the times you compromised. Yeah, I stayed up till 3 a.m. listening to your problems in 2019, that's 5 love points. You didn't text me back in 2021, -10. Balance owed, emotional bankruptcy. No wonder so many relationships feel exhausting. It's not love, it's bookkeeping with extra cuddles. So why do we confuse emotional debt with love? Because it feels intense. It feels like attachment, sacrifice, effort. But intensity isn't intimacy. Fire isn't warmth. It can burn you just as easily. Real love is free-flowing. Emotional debt feels heavy, transactional, like carrying invisible chains. And honestly, most people would rather drag those chains around than face the terrifying idea of being alone. Let me give you a scene. Sarah dates Mark. Mark is emotionally distant. Sarah gives her time, her energy, her emotional labor. Deep down, she thinks, if I love him enough, one day he'll love me back. But what Sarah's actually doing is swiping her emotional credit card on Mark's behalf. Every sacrifice she makes feels like an investment, but years later, she's drained, resentful, and stuck. That's not love, that's debt. And if you're thinking, wait, am I Sarah? Is my relationship secretly a loan shark situation? Don't panic. In the next section, we'll decode the illusion of love, the sneaky signs that you're actually in emotional debt, not romance. But before we go deeper, smash that subscribe button to join Intuition Decoded. Because trust me, you're gonna need more of these insights before your next We Need to Talk moment. All right, confession time. We've all been there, confusing emotional chaos for passion. That roller coaster feeling where one minute you're on top of the world and the next you're ugly crying into a tub of ice cream like it's holy medicine. We call it love. But really, it's emotional debt disguised with a glittery bow. So let's pull the mask off. Here are the red flags, the sneaky signs you're paying off emotional debt instead of swimming in actual healthy love. First sign 1 is that you feel guilty more than you feel happy. If your relationship feels less like a rom-com and more like a courtroom trial, congratulations, you might be in emotional debt. Ask yourself, do I spend more time apologizing than laughing? Do I feel guilty for wanting space, rest, or even basic joy? Do I measure my worth by how much I sacrifice? That's not Cupid's arrow. That's debt collection. Love lifts, debt drains. If every I love you comes with the unspoken and here's what you owe me, you're not in love. You're basically an emotional credit card holder with 24% APR. Love is supposed to feel like free Wi-Fi at a cafe. Emotional debt? It's like Wi-Fi with a 16-digit password, 3 security questions, and the connection still drops when you need it most. Second sign is you're scared to disappoint them. Healthy love says, be yourself. Emotional debt says, careful, one wrong move and the whole house of cards collapses. If you walk on eggshells around your partner, family member, or friend because you're terrified of losing their approval, you're not in love. You're in hostage negotiations. Love doesn't feel like a performance review. Debt does.
Take Jason.
Every time he disagrees with his girlfriend, she sighs dramatically and says, I guess I just love you more than you love me. Boom! Instant guilt trip. Jason shuts up, apologizes, and starts bending over backward to make it up to her. That's not partnership. That's emotional blackmail wrapped in Valentine's Day packaging. Third sign is that your worth feels conditional. This is a big one. If your inner monologue sounds like, they'll stay with me because I cook, clean, and listen. They love me because I tolerate their nonsense. I have to earn their love by suffering. Then, friend, you're not in a relationship. You're in an unpaid internship that doesn't even look good on your resume. Love doesn't need conditions. Emotional debt thrives on them. Think of real love as pizza. You don't have to earn pizza. Pizza just shows up, gooey and wonderful.
Emotional debt, though? That's like eating salad at a party while you watch everyone else eating pizza. You're chewing lettuce and telling yourself, at least I'm being healthy. But deep down, you know you're suffering.
Fourth sign is you feel trapped instead of free. Real love opens doors, emotional debt locks them. When you're truly loved, you feel safe enough to grow, explore, and evolve. But if you constantly think, if I change, if I grow, they'll leave me, you're in debt. Because love is expansive, debt is restrictive. Psychologists call this conditional acceptance. You only feel valuable as long as you meet certain unspoken conditions. It's like living under an emotional landlord who can evict you at any moment. Real love is owning your house. Emotional debt is renting it forever, scared of being kicked out. Fifth SGN is you keep score. Here's the dead giveaway. If you or your partner are always tallying points, who called first, who sacrificed more, who forgave more, congratulations, you're running an emotional accounting firm. Love isn't a scoreboard. It's not supposed to be 1 point for me, 0 for you. If you're keeping score, that's not affection. It's an invoice, that's not a relationship. That's basically two emotional debt collectors fighting over who's bankrupt first. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, uh-oh, I've seen myself in at least 3 of these signs, don't panic. You're not doomed. You're just human. Because here's the truth. Most of us weren't taught real love. We were taught emotional transactions. We grew up thinking affection was something you earned by pleasing others, not something freely given. And that's exactly why in the next section, we're going to explore the psychology of emotional debt, where it comes from, how childhood wires us for it, and why we keep swiping that invisible credit card. But before we dive into the deep stuff, let me just say, if this video is already hitting uncomfortably close to home, smash that subscribe button to join Intuition Decoded. This is where we take all those messy feelings nobody explains and finally make sense of them. And trust me, you're gonna want the next part. So we've figured out what emotional debt looks like. We've spotted the signs, but here's the million-dollar question. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do smart, talented, capable humans end up in relationships that feel less like love and more like a never-ending subscription plan with no cancel button? Well, buckle up, because to answer that, we've got to go straight into the psychology of emotional debt. Don't worry, this won't be like a boring textbook, more like psychology with memes. Let's start with childhood. Here's the truth. Most of us learned emotional debt before we could even spell love. If you grew up in a home where affection was conditional, where love came with strings attached, you learned early that love transaction. Got good grades? You earned love. Did what they wanted? You earned love. Made a mistake? Love disappeared. And without even realizing it, you started to carry those IOUs into adulthood. So now, when someone gives you affection, your brain whispers, don't screw this up, you'll have to pay for it later. It's like those childhood sticker charts. Do a chore, get a star. Behave, get 2 stars. Misbehave, the whole chart disappears. Congratulations, you've just been trained to think of love as a Costco membership. Okay, next up, attachment styles. Attachment theory is basically the Wi-Fi manual for relationships. You've got secure attachment, love feels stable, safe, chill. Anxious attachment, love feels like waiting for someone to text back while staring at your phone like it's a crystal ball. Avoidant attachment, love feels like this is nice, but I need to disappear for 3 days because commitment scares me. Now, here's the kicker. Anxious and avoidant folks tend to create emotional debt the most. Why? Anxious people overgive, hoping the other person won't leave. Avoidant people undergive, making the anxious one work overtime. The cycle creates, emotional debt. Honestly, attachment styles are like iPhone models. Everyone thinks they've got the best one, but most of us are just stuck with outdated versions that glitch under pressure. Another big reason we rack up emotional debt: fear. Fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. So we overcompensate. We think, if I give more, they'll never leave. If I sacrifice, they'll see my worth. If I suffer quietly, maybe one day they'll reward me.
This doesn't work, ever. It's like paying your minimum credit card balance. Your debt only grows.
Oh, and let's not forget culture. Movies, books, and music basically teach us that suffering, love.
I can't live without you.
I'll die if you leave me.
Love means never letting go.
Excuse me? That's not romance. That's emotional debt with a side of drama. Real love doesn't demand you give up your identity, sanity, or personal boundaries, but culture romanticizes struggle, so we start to believe if it's painful, it must be real. You ever notice how rom-coms end right at the wedding? Because if they kept going, half of them would just turn into emotional debt documentaries on Netflix. Here's a tough pill. A lot of emotional debt comes from not feeling worthy of unconditional love. If deep down you believe, I'm not enough as I am, then of course you'll try to earn love through sacrifice, suffering, or people-pleasing. It's like trying to pay with Monopoly money. You're constantly hustling because you don't believe you deserve the real currency of affection. No wonder so many of us mistake emotional debt for love. We were practically trained for it since birth. But here's the good news. Just because you've been stuck in emotional debt doesn't mean you have to stay there. We're going to break down the cost of emotional debt, what it does to your mental health, your happiness, and your future, and more importantly, how to start breaking free. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us here at Intuition Decoded, because we're just getting started, and trust me, your future self will thank you for watching this till the end. By now, you probably get it. Emotional debt is sneaky, exhausting, and way more common than we'd like to admit. But what does it actually cost you? It costs you mental exhaustion. Being in emotional debt is like having 47 tabs open in your brain at all times. You're always calculating, did I give enough today? Are they upset with me? How do I earn their love back? That mental load drains your energy. Instead of living, you're auditing your own emotions 24/7. It causes to loss of identity. Here's the cruel part. The more debt you carry, the less of you remains. You stop asking, what do I want? Instead, you ask, what do they need? How do I keep them happy? And over time, you shrink. You become the side character in your own life story, while someone else plays the lead. When love feels like debt, you're never relaxed. You're always bracing for the day they collect. Every argument feels life or death. Every silence feels like a punishment. Every boundary feels like betrayal. That constant anxiety, that's the interest rate on emotional debt. Here's the irony. You overgive to keep them close, but over time, you start resenting them for taking so much. It's like lending a friend $100 and then watching them buy Starbucks every day while forgetting to pay you back. Eventually, you explode, not because of one coffee, but because of years of unpaid debt. And maybe the biggest cost, when you're drowning in emotional debt, you don't have space for the real thing.
Because love isn't supposed to feel like chains. It's supposed to feel like wings.
Think about it. If emotional debt were a subscription plan, it would be called Love Plus, only $0 up front, but lifetime payments of your sanity included. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. Because the good news is, emotional debt is not permanent. You can cancel the subscription. Here's how. Step 1. Recognize the debt. You can't fix what you can't see. Ask yourself, am I giving from love or from fear? Do I feel free in this relationship or trapped? If I stopped earning their love tomorrow, would they still stay? Awareness is the first payment toward freedom. Step 2, rebuild your self-worth. This is the big one. You have to believe deep in your bones that you are enough without constantly proving it. Try this. Next time you catch yourself people-pleasing, pause and say, I am worthy of love, even when I don't perform. Cheesy? Maybe? Necessary? Absolutely. Step 3, set boundary. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors with locks. You decide who gets access and when. If you're in emotional debt, start small. Say no without explaining. Take time for yourself without guilt. Don't over-explain your choices. If someone freaks out when you set boundaries, that's a clue they weren't loving you, they were using your debt. Step 4, redefine love. Ask yourself, what is real love? Here's a cheat sheet. Love is freedom, not fear. Love is choice, not obligation. Love is presence, not performance. Redefine it, write it down, because the moment you know what real love feels like, you'll stop settling for emotional debt. Step 5. Heal your roots. Remember how we said emotional debt starts in childhood? That's why healing often requires going back. Whether it's therapy, journaling, meditation, or honest self-reflection, you need to untangle those early lessons. Because you can't build healthy love on top of an old blueprint that says love must be earned. Step 6. Practice receiving love. This one sounds easy, but is surprisingly hard. When someone gives you love without conditions, don't argue, don't deflect, don't shrink. Just say thank you. The more you practice receiving, the less your brain panics that love debt. Imagine waking up tomorrow with zero emotional debt. No ledgers, no IOUs, no keeping score. You just love and you're loved back. Freely, effortlessly, without fear. That's the life waiting for you once you let go of the chains. Because here's the truth. You are not in debt. You never were. The love you deserve doesn't come with interest rates. It doesn't keep receipts. It doesn't expire. All right, so we've exposed emotional debt, roasted it, dragged it through the mud, and given you the tools to start breaking free. But let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about relationships, it's about your entire life. When you stop living in emotional debt, everything changes. How you love, how you work, how you dream, how you see yourself. So let's talk about what life looks like beyond the chains of debt and how to actually step into it, one move at a time. Here's the thing, no one tells you. When you finally break free, it feels uncomfortable. Why? Because you're used to debt. You're used to calculating your worth, begging for crumbs, keeping score.
So when someone suddenly gives you love, respect, or kindness, no strings attached, your brain goes,
Wait, this must be a scam. Where's the hidden fee? But nope, that's just what real connection feels like. And yes, it feels suspiciously good at first. Most of us are running on autopilot scripts written years ago. Scripts like, I'm only lovable if I please everyone. Love always requires suffering. I have to give 200% to keep someone. Those scripts are outdated. You need a rewrite. Here's how. Write down your old belief about love. Cross it out like a bad ex. Replace it with a new belief, I'm lovable because I exist. Love is joyful, not heavy. I don't have to perform to deserve affection. Rinse and repeat until your brain finally upgrades. You must stop negotiating with fear. Fear loves emotional debt. It whispers, if you stop giving, they'll leave. If you speak up, they'll reject you. If you choose yourself, you'll be alone forever. But here's the truth. Fear is a terrible financial advisor. It keeps you paying into accounts that are already empty. Every time you make a choice out of fear, you're swiping the emotional credit card again. So next time fear shows up, ask, is this a debt decision or a love decision? If it's debt, don't swipe. Self-respect is the ultimate debt-canceling currency. When you respect yourself, you stop begging for discounts in love. You stop accepting crumbs. You stop working overtime for people who wouldn't even clock in for you. To be practical, you must start small. Respect your time, nor stop overcommitting. Respect your boundaries, nor say no without guilt. Respect your heart. Don't hand it out like free samples at Costco. The more you practice self-respect, the more you attract relationships that reflect it back to you. You should choose love that expands you. Here's the ultimate test. Does this relationship expand me or shrink me? Love that expands will make you feel more alive, encourage your growth, accept your flaws without a fine print clause. Love that shrinks will make you anxious about losing it, punish you for mistakes, keep score like it's the Olympics. If it shrinks you, it's debt. If it expands you, it's love. Breaking free isn't just about leaving unhealthy relationships. It's about building a future where debt can't sneak back in. That means surrounding yourself with people who give freely, creating habits of honesty, respect, and joy, checking in with yourself regularly. Am I giving from fear or love? And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Eventually, emotional debt won't even feel tempting anymore. You'll spot it a mile away and go, nah, I'm not signing up for that credit trap again. Here's the real win. When you stop living in emotional debt, you stop wasting your energy on proving your worth. And guess what happens? You have more energy for your passions. You attract healthier people. You live lighter, freer, and truer. You stop surviving love and start actually experiencing it. Emotional debt is sneaky, it's exhausting, and it's way too normalized. But once you see it for what it is, you can't unsee it. The good news? You can walk away from it. You can rewrite your script. You can step into love that doesn't drain, doesn't punish, doesn't keep score, because you are not a debtor. You're not an emotional bank. You're a human being worthy of love that's free, light, and real. And if you take even one thing from today, let it be this: stop paying for love, start receiving it. If you felt this message in your soul or even laughed along the way, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs it. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to Intuition Decoded, because around here, we don't just talk about love, we decode the patterns that keep you stuck and help you live free. Trust me, you'll want to be here for the next one. Because the next time someone tries to hand you emotional debt disguised as love, you'll spot it a mile away. Until then, stay free, stay real, and stay decoded. So go ahead, cancel your emotional debt. Your future self is already cheering.